scheduling it.
No, we're going live, bro.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Oh, go on, CK.
Yeah, so today I'm here with the normal guys, Curran, um, George, and Z, and today we're gonna discuss our Premier League predictions. We're gonna have to do it now because the Premier League starts in 2 days. So yeah, what do you guys? What are your quick first thoughts before we really go into it?
Well, I think overall, I think we're going to see a return to kind of the normal league positions in a sense. I think COVID really kind of changed the way that, teams could eke out 0-0 or 1-0. I don't think the attack of the top six teams in general was firing necessarily. And I think that's a large to do with fans and I think momentum. I think we're going to see the return of home court advantage in quotes again, home court. But that is a real thing, a real psychological phenomenon. So I do feel as though we're going to see a return to that and also a return to less variable results. So what I mean by that, like the 7-2 with Aston Villa, the big, what was it, 7-1 or something with United and Spurs, like those crazy results I don't see happening with fans because I believe one or two goals within those setups where the games are close and 1-1 or 2-1 change your tide. Like they do matter. So for me, I think we see a return to really the top six, traditional top six in a sense. And there becomes a little bit more clear delineation between kind of mid-table and your rival top six, really. So that's my prediction for the league in general.
I mean, before we get started, I just want to say that these are very, very provisional. Okay, I will be revisiting them personally. I mean, I don't know. I think everyone will when this window ends, because at this moment in time, the window is just getting the sort of the gears are starting to turn. Let's put it that way. So, I think doing these now it is what it is. I mean, you have to do them, but lots can change. Lots can change. Lots of deals can go through. Lots of deals may not go through, as is with the hope with one of them today. But let's let's hope and see what happens with this table. So I think we'll get straight into it. I think we've decided on an order today. So CK, if you want to go first, let's get going.
Yeah, so let me bring mine up. So I'll go from bottom up. So I think Norwich lost their main source of goals in Buendia, and they really haven't replaced him. And they're willing to sell Cantwell, which is weird to me. So Norwich, I think, will come bottom three. Or I've said they're going to come last, and I'm not sure they've made any signings. So Southampton have also lost their goals, and their goals were created. Most of Ings' goals came from himself. Like he barely got assisted, so they lost someone who was scoring majority of their goals, but also creating a lot of their goals in Ings, and they haven't replaced him yet. And Watford and Burnley, it was either or for me, to be honest. I just think Dyche will pull it through again and potentially stay in the league again. But Watford haven't had a good pre-season, even though it doesn't really matter. But they're still lacking in quality. They're not that much different to what they were when they got relegated, and most other teams have improved. And Burnley are still doing the same thing of not signing anyone and just sticking with what they have and trying to compete with what they have. Newcastle haven't really made any notable changes, and if they do get Willock, which I really do, which looks like it's done, and if they do get Willock, I think they definitely stay up. And Brighton will still be low in my opinion because they still haven't secured a main source of goals here, so they'll still struggle with their final third action. Wolves, really, they lost their manager. Do you guys know if they replaced him? I'm really not sure.
They have. I can't remember his name, but I know they have.
Okay, and Wolves.
I
Wolves
think
did
it's another
lose.
Portuguese guy, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check that up for you.
Yeah, Pedro Neto is still injured, so
They got Trincao though, and
yes,
Jimenez is back as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
they will definitely improve them.
No,
And
look,
Jimenez will
when
be a plus for them, obviously, because the goals. So I don't think they get relegated, to be
no,
honest.
no,
And Villa probably have them lower than most people expected, and that's because they haven't replaced Grealish's build up, like, progression in the second phase, and they haven't replaced his like notable presence on the left because they've signed two right wingers in Buendia and Bailey. So yeah, they're good acquisitions, but like if they stick to the 4-2-3-1, then I think they're really going to struggle without Grealish there.
They're
And if
going
they
4-4-2, mate. They have to. Like
yeah,
if you look
they
at their if
probably
you look
will,
at
but
their additions, they can like Leon Bailey is absolutely not a left winger as much as
yeah,
people think. He's played there, but that doesn't mean that he's best there. And his best
no,
season
you're
came
right.
at right wing. So I think in order to fit everybody on the pitch that they have got, especially you got to think McGinn too, right? Like now McGinn is their best second phase controller, and he's going to be in charge of that. And so I think you have to do 4-4-2 in order to fit the attacking talent that they've got, right? And to be fair, Watkins and Ings is not a bad little strike partnership, and it is coming back 4-4-2.
I do think they're going to go 4-4-2 with Watkins and Ings, and it
Said
is a good front line. Probably one of the best in the league, but I just really think their left hand side is nowhere near as powerful as it was last year. I think Brentford have a good team. They've got very good players like Ivan Toney
great
and
coach, man. Great coach.
Henry, and and they're different to all the Premier League teams in the way they sign players today. They really focus on analytics. They really don't do probably send people out on scout. So Brentford are unique in the way they sign players, but I think Brentford will do the best of all the promoted teams, to be honest. Everton, they're really going to be compact. That really happens with every Rafa Benitez team. They're always compact. Everton have more quality than the Newcastle team, but I'm not sure they have the goals or are expansive enough to really push Europe. So that's why I put them before Palace, who I really like Palace, especially this pre-season. I've watched them a lot, and Vieira has got all their players more tactically
Zaha looks
aware.
good.
Zaha has been firing. I think he scored 4 goals in pre-season, and he's created some. And they're looking to do more of a counter press this year, so
It
Palace
will work well. Yeah.
will be more effective. And they've made good signings. Like Guehi now controls their build-up, and Guehi has the most in the past 2 games he started. He's had the most touches of any player on the pitch. So Guehi definitely is an acquisition that will improve them. And is that ninth? Yeah, West Ham 9th. West Ham have kept the same players, and they wanted Pereira, but they couldn't get him. So they're essentially the same starting 11. And I think the other teams around them have improved enough to really go past them. I think 9th is a good season for them, and Europe will impact them because it's going to come to a point where they have to pick Europe or the league. And I'm not sure what they will pick, and whichever one they do pick, they probably do better in. So I think they probably prioritize the Europe possibly. My top 8.
Here we go.
I think Conference League is what Tottenham will get again. I really think they're going to get Conference League. I think Gil is a good signing because he's a good player, but I'm not sure where he fits into their system. He probably plays right mid because they're trying to sell Bergwijn. Son has looked firing in pre-season, and Son is good. Kane, I'm not sure if he stays or leaves. I'm really not sure if he stays or goes. He probably goes, and if he does go, it will go down. But for right now, they still have him. So I think Tottenham will finish just below Leicester. Leicester have made good signings and will probably play 4-4-2. with Daka and Vardy or Daka and Iheanacho. Leicester have been in and around the top four for 3 seasons. Well, this will be their third season in and around the top four, and I think Leicester are a good team, obviously, but I think they possibly do lose Maddison and do lose the controller of their build-up and the person who lead their press. Into the top five, I think United will miss out. I think they will definitely regress from last season, and I think them planning to go 4-3-3 really baffles me, especially without us getting a DM, without them getting a DM, and I think we'll finish above Chelsea. To be honest, I think it'll be so close in that like third, fourth, fifth, maybe even second. But I think we do. Ever since we changed our system, we do have more goals than Chelsea, and Chelsea have got goals in now, like a guaranteed 20 league goals with Lukaku. But I really think them sticking with a 3-4-1-2 will hinder them. And somebody clip him. They always clip me. So there's no worries.
He's the clipper. He's the clipper.
I've said
He'll clip
worse
himself.
than predicting Arsenal third. So, and I do think we'll get third. I think we're much better than people really expect. And people really, our own fans, maybe even rate us worse than opposition. And we have definitely improved, and I think we will improve. I think we really need maybe 2-3 signings to really be that top team. But I think with what we have right now, we can get third or fourth. And the top two, I think, will go back to City and Liverpool. Liverpool have a great first 11. I just don't know how injuries will affect them. And I think
I'll be honest, mate. Like when I'm seeing that, the only pushback that I am going to say logically is I don't think we've completed our starting 11. But CK knows this. You know, he's definitely the more optimistic out of all of us always.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that I do say is with Arsenal's third, I agree with you that the points are going to be very tight in that end of the table. I'll probably save my own little conclusions there. But in terms of us being third, I cannot see that as long as our right back isn't addressed, as long as our starting 11 isn't complete. Because I would argue, while I agree with all that you've said about Chelsea's struggles, they're a complete starting 11. And I think that while we still have holes, so I can't guarantee that third until I see that addressed. So
well, in the end, what makes me push for third is that I think our fixtures really favour us to the end of the season.
They do.
And the other top teams will be in Europe. So they're going to have to decide which one they will prioritize, because you always choose one. Only City really have the luxury of being able to push really hard in both. So the top teams will have to decide which one they're going to push for. And like United and Chelsea play each other like the 36th or 37th game of the season. And so the big teams do play each other late, which is another reason why I think we would finish higher. We could finish fourth, and I think third is optimistic, but I think fourth is really what I think. But I'm going to say third and stick with it. And I think City will win the league. I think they have the best team. Grealish won't do as well as people probably think. But they've got 2 starting 11s that are top quality. And a team like City with the best manager in the world will win the league, in my opinion. So that's what I've got to say on mine. And
yeah, I mean, so I know people are saying deluded and tie and whatever, but look, if you guys really want to say, look, we're going to finish 8th or 9th, well, first of all, that is just as deluded. Literally, you can't have it both ways. So I don't know. It seems like it's it's something that we say.
Yo-yo,
it has to be other way.
Yeah, and you know what, Yo-yo? I'll get it to my predictions, but yeah, I do believe Ollie gets sacked, 100%.
Probably
I'll get it to my predictions. But I think Z is probably.
Yeah,
We got to save our analysis a little bit because I feel like everyone's got reasoning for their tables. But yeah, fair play, Chris. We'll see how that table goes. I think there's a couple positions I'd swap, but for the most part, it's pretty decent.
Okay, so Z is next.
Yeah, bring mine up, man. I'm ready for this.
Let me bring yours up.
By the way, for the comments, these are always so fun. I think you guys in the comments, I get that you may think that some people are deluded and whatnot, but why don't you guys make your top 8 or top 10 and let's see how we compare, because I think we're just doing this for screenshot purposes, of course. We'll see how close these tables actually get. And we'll do a revised one, by the way, guys, on the international break when the transfer window is complete. So this is a fluid situation.
Madness. Wow, okay.
Go for it. Brentford last, mate.
To be fair, look, guys, I'm looking at my table and I feel like it's probably the most normal one out of.
Bro, Brentford last is mad.
Yeah, that's one thing. So I'm of the opinion that I personally think Brentford would probably struggle within the league. I say that because it's probably their first time in a long while that they're in the league, and perhaps it could be a step too far for them. And whilst I was picking up the predictions, what I was doing, because I calculated the each scores for each games, and I was just looking at, I couldn't see Brentford winning most games. I was just like, this is going to be a struggle for Brentford. So I was just like, Brentford could possibly just finish right at the bottom. And Watford and Norwich, I think they speak for themselves. They always come to the league and they leave as well. They collect that £80 million cash and then go. So I'm predicting them to go straight down. Newcastle, I don't really think that Willock would probably have much of an impact that we believe. I feel like last season was probably more of a surprise package, but I think a lot of teams will start now normalizing seeing Willock around, and they'll probably prepare for him. So I think he'll be just enough to keep them out of the relegation zone, but I don't think they've improved their team enough. Again, I think Leeds will go through the second season syndrome, and they'll probably struggle a little bit, but they'll pick up enough points just to stay up. And I feel like the positions between Brighton all the way to Everton, it could be quite close. There might be a few points between them. But I just don't see them picking enough points throughout the season to,
And you will finish second. What the? Sorry,
yeah, I just personally can't see them picking enough points throughout the season to, move towards the, upper half of the table. Well, and now I want to move to from Everton onwards to Aston Villa. I feel like Aston Villa has improved their team by quite a bit, regardless of Grealish has left them or not, but not to an extent where they would go and get Europe. They could possibly challenge to try and get Europe, but I feel like they've kind of secured their place in the top half. That's what with those signings with Bailey and Buendia and Danny Ings. They're definitely getting a lot more goals next season. And then after that, Crystal Palace, I think their team speaks for itself with Patrick Vieira and all the recruitments that's been made. That's been really, really good. But again, I don't think they'll be doing enough, just purely because I don't rate Vieira as a manager as much as you guys do. So I don't know where people say he might just challenge for Europe. I just don't know. But we'll see about that. West Ham again. I don't know. Have they actually recruited any players this window or no?
Who? West Ham?
Yeah.
No. You have Palace hired and added.
Well, that's just
the way she goes sometimes.
That's just the predictions, exactly. Well, it's still not a great place considering the amount of money that they've already spent. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Crystal Palace, they could aim to go higher.
No, 14 to 9 is a big change.
Well, yeah. So West Ham, if they haven't improved on their squad, I know they're trying to look for Zuma, but I feel like that's the least of their worries. I feel like they should start. They need another attacking midfielder because I feel like they're going to miss that Lingard that they lost out last year. They had last season. So yeah, that's my predictions. And in terms of that, and then we look at from Tottenham all the way to Manchester City. I think it speaks for itself. I feel like Tottenham. Man, where would we be without Tottenham? Tottenham, I don't think they'll be doing enough for just to get into the top four. I don't think they'll be anywhere near the top four really, that's just purely based on the manager. And Nuno doesn't have the experience to actually compete for those positions, and also I feel like they've not really improved their team too much to an extent where they can sustainably challenge. They probably will get Conference League or whatever you want to call it. And then Leicester again. My predictions could have been higher for Leicester. They could have been challenging for Champions League, but I feel like they could drop a position below because of the fact that they could be losing Maddison. And also, I'm hoping that Brendan Rodgers has his third season syndrome again, which means he might struggle. And then after that, I feel like it's going to be a challenge between the top four, between Arsenal and Manchester United. I just feel like these two teams will be battling for the entire season, and for that top four position. There's a game in April where it's Arsenal versus Manchester United, and I feel like that'll probably be a very important game, which kind of leads us to where Arsenal or Manchester United could finish, and that will decide fourth or fifth place. And I think the top three, they speak for themselves. I think they've spent a lot of money to actually put themselves far ahead of the other teams in the league, especially Liverpool and Manchester City. But I feel like Liverpool's team currently is already very, very good, so they will probably get second place. But look, this is just my preliminary predictions. I feel like a lot of it could change. I feel like Liverpool could go really badly as well. So it's just we have to see how the season goes, but don't call me deluded. It's just my prediction, guys.
You haven't got any of them deluded shouts like I did, to be honest. I think, honestly, if I'm being honest with my predictions, if Chelsea get a centre back, I think they go above us, but they don't have it yet. So that's why I'm gonna stick with us being third. So next is George.
Put up the 100% record. That's gonna happen.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think the overall arching of these tables aren't drastically different. They're just a position here or there that are going to be a little bit changing, to be honest with you. Even looking at your guys' tables, they aren't crazy. I would probably break it down just as, Chris is putting it up there. It's going to be probably relegation 3, then your relegation candidates 3, then kind of like your mid-table group, and then you've got maybe I'd say your 3rd to probably 8th is probably very, very tight in points. And then 1 and 2 are going to be much clearer at the top. And I think that Manchester City are going to chase away the league. So why don't we just start down at the bottom? Look, Norwich, it's been said already, right? They've lost their major creator, goal threat, but also system and reality. And I don't think they've replaced well at all, if really anything, consequently. I don't know if Todd Cantwell stays, by the way, by the end of the window. I don't know. And if he leaves, that's certainty for them going down. In terms of Burnley, I think a lot of people will be surprised that, look, George, they've escaped relegation every single season. But at the end of the day, I think that with fans returning, you're going to see a move away from the close 0-0, the 1-0. There was a big efficiency problem if you were looking at not even just the top 6, but the Premier League in general. Goals were inefficient. Goals were lacking in many teams. Many traditional teams that have scored a lot more goals last season didn't. And so when you're looking at it with fans returning, I think we're going to see a lot more goals. I think with the new rule changes, by the way, that I don't think people are actually prepared for, it favors the attackers. I don't know if people have seen, but that offside rule, it's crazy to me, but it's favoring attackers. And I think that we are gearing towards a more goal-oriented Premier League and product. And so in that, you have to have a consistent goal scorer. I don't see Burnley with consistent goal scorers. I don't think they have enough to consistently eke it out. Southampton, really bad that they're losing Vestergaard now, which 100% is confirmed. So now they've lost their best striker and their leader in their defense. That's a certainty for me for relegation. You can't do that with Hasenhüttl's high press and expect them to go far. So for me, Southampton are really going to be struggling. Watford's unlucky to miss out. They're a very close one. I flirted between Watford and even Burnley, because again, those points are going to be very close, right? They're not going to be very big. But Watford, for me, they just edge it with what they have in Ismaila Sarr, as well as Joshua King and Troy Deeney. So I think they've got goals in their system. That's the one thing that I think they do have over the bottom two that, Burnley and Southampton, I don't think have. Watford are going to be studious, industrious, so they'll be compact. In terms of Newcastle, even with Joe Willock, even though I love Joe Willock, I don't think he replicates his goal scoring form over the course of a 38-game season. So that last push for goals is going to be very difficult for them. And I don't think they've replaced enough. While they do have Callum Wilson, I can't count on his fitness. And so once again, I see goals as lacking. As we move on, Brighton, they also have yet to actually acquire a consistent goal threat. And I think this is one that I have absolutely increasing if they buy a striker. Say if you get Eddie Nketiah in this team, I think they go up 2 or 3 positions personally for me, because their system, and I really rate their coach, Graham Potter, quite a lot. But they have a lot there in key cogs. It's just they don't score. So they're always going to be relegation candidates until they fix that. Wolves. Look, I think Wolves, a lot of people sleep on Wolves. Just the issue is I think everyone's squad above them is just, they're probably hard luck with Brentford. That's probably the only thing I'll say. Those two could probably be switched, but I just don't know how Pedro Neto and Raul Jimenez are going to actually perform. I know that they're back, but is that enough coming off major injuries? Is that enough for Pedro Neto to come mid-season to really give them a push up the table, or has the damage already been done? Brentford, I actually love Brentford. I think they have an absolutely phenomenal coach, something that could be absolutely, kind of probably in the running for manager of the season. I think I really rate him as a coach, his counter press. He just doesn't have really the squad quality, but he's got a really great, consistent goal scorer in Ivan Toney that absolutely will get them goals, and they're very compact in the press. So they're going to be a very fun team. My Leeds, in a sense of, coming up from the championship and doing really quite well. Crystal Palace, tough one, guys. Like, I love Paddy, but actually, Z, I'm with you. I don't rate him as highly as a coach, but I think the attacking talent he has is going to push him again. There's going to be a theme here, guys. I think goals saves you this season. Last season, it was a compact defense. Last season, I think defense got you out of trouble quite a bit. And I don't think that's the case here. So if you've got consistent goals, you've always got a chance. And to be fair, their preseason has been scary. Like the guys have mentioned, Zaha's been on fire, but even, Paddy's counter press has been absolutely insane. Like, they've done really, really well to coach that. And I was very surprised. So that's why I have them there. In terms of Villa, Villa, I think exactly what Chris has said. I think I kind of already said it on past streams too. It's like, look, they're replacing Jack Grealish, who's a second phase controller, with nobody, and they're switching their dynamics from the left to the right. And by doing that, do you have the same second phase controller in McGinn? You don't. Like, the quality's not there. So I think it's a case of them buying very good individual players, but again, them not being able to gel consistently. So I think Aston Villa will struggle mid-table despite being everyone's pick. And then I believe Everton is probably got one of the better coaches, most underrated coaches, really, for me, in Rafa Benitez. So I don't think that their squad quality is great, but Rafa, you can clip this. He's going to squeeze every inch out of that club and that team, really. And I don't like it. Like, I hate his football, but he will do it. It's just Rafa. And he's so structurally there that, he will get them at least mid-table, if not even better. They could be a surprise package. Moving on, in terms of West Ham, look, I think West Ham have a really great team to begin with, and I think they do get a striker. So this is another one that could maybe change some of the calculus. But as of right now, without a striker, without consistent goals, they're going to suffer with having to go into Europe as well, something that they don't have experience in, by the way. And I think that'll take a toll on them throughout the course of a season. So they might suffer in their league form for having their opportunity at Europe. Tottenham, look, I don't think Harry Kane stays. I think he goes, and a Kane with what they've brought in is not good enough. It really isn't. Even trying to remove your bias, I don't think they sit there and they're a great team now with Kane outside of that reference with who they bought. Even if they were to sit there and buy a great striker like Martinez, I don't think that they've got that reference in attack. Kane did so much more than just goals. It's not just goals for them. He was literally their controller, their attacking mid, as well as their consistent goal threat, their aura. It was too much. And whenever you have big signing like that leave, it's very, very rare that it goes right for you the following season. Very rare. And I don't think that they've bought enough for me to feel confident that they can. So yeah, I think that's Tottenham. And Leeds, look, I love Leeds. I'm not like, I guess, Z maybe. I rate Bielsa very, very highly. I think Leeds, in terms of their second season, are going to do better in their counter press. And I think he's recruited great in Junior Firpo as well. Like, that's a really big signing.
That's a very good signing.
And especially for how they want to play, right? Like how they use their wing backs. Like, I can see that left-hand side being spammed continuously. So yeah, I really rate Leeds. Look, Leicester, I don't think people understand. I do, in my predictions here, I have Maddison coming to Arsenal. I really don't think that that's going to be an issue. And when you take Maddison outside of that team with what they have and add in Brendan's always guaranteed 2 ACL injuries, like this guy's training methods are really quite poor. He's consistently dropped out of the top 4 too, like in back-to-back seasons. I never understood when people tell me that Leicester are this amazing team that are top 4 contenders when they've consistently dropped out of the top 4 back-to-back seasons after having very considerable leads too, by the way. Like there was no issue that they should have dropped out, but they did. Look, on United being 5th, I think everyone's seen my prediction, and if you haven't, go check it out. It's like 52 seconds. I don't think Raphael Varane is the same Varane. I think really people have not watched the league. They haven't watched how he's fared without Sergio Ramos. They haven't watched how he's done when he's come through the Champions League to face City and Chelsea. He's done really quite poor and had some major critical errors leading to goals. And I think Ollie is going to attempt this 3-man midfield one more time to appease fans, and I don't think it's going to go well. I do think Ollie gets sacked in the middle of the season, and I think in a season where there are fans, this idea of not having a more consistent system and plan of attack is going to be found out. And he can't rely on ball striking, really, when you do have fans coming back in the stadium. I think it's a big, big, big issue that hasn't been mentioned. So, yeah, I do think he gets sacked, and I do think he goes. And when you look at Arsenal 4th, yeah, I've got Maddison coming in for me. So when you start to look at this team, we completed the squad depth, not all the positions I wanted the same players, but we did do the squad depth. We increased at center back and we increased in the attacking midfielder with James Maddison massively. And look, I still think that there's probably another surprise. I'm sure we'll have, Zion for a live later on, but I don't think a goalkeeper, which seems to be Ramsdale, and we can put our thoughts later, but I don't think a goalkeeper plus Maddison is the only thing we do. I think we do at least one more signing. But even with just Maddison right now, I don't think people understand the difference that a midfield balance does to this team. And what it does also to Oba. Like, I don't think people understand the connection that Maddison had with Vardy and how that could benefit Pierre, right? And if he does that, a Pierre that's firing is absolutely a difference maker. It completely changes the calculus. And so, yeah, I don't think Pierre is finished like people say. I think he kind of returns to a normal-ish season for him on XG, and that's a direct link because of Maddison. So, yeah, that's why I think it's 4th. And I think between the two, I don't know, you guys are a little bit more down on Chelsea than I am. I think as much as I don't like Tuchel, and I agree he'll have to change to a back 4 mid-season, I think their squad quality is just too great because I don't think Liverpool have replaced the squad depth with Ginny leaving. And I don't know how Virgil van Dijk's going to come back. Like big injuries on big major pillars. So for me, I think they struggle. And then look, City run away with the league. I really do. They would have ran away with the league without Grealish. Without Kane. Like they could have added anybody. I don't even think it changes my calculus for right now. I don't think there's a team out there that can compete right now with City.
Okay, so that's Georgia. Yeah, yeah. So far, 3 people have City winning the league. Let's see if Curran also has City winning the league.
Rounded up 4 for 4.
I do have City winning the league, but I don't see them winning the league. I mean, I did mine on points. I sent the lads the predictor that I used. I looked at every game and analyzed. I gave a plus or minus 3 game margin for each team and it increased as you went down the league. Like I did, I tried to do things as fairly and as like scientifically as possible. So. Yeah, in terms of my league, granted, I will say this: Southampton aren't as high now. That's the only change I would make. This was done before the Ings leaving. The only change I would make in this is Southampton and going down below about Brighton, and then everyone else moves up. But yeah, so let's get going. So I actually have Burnley finishing bottom of the league. I think that it's finally their time. I think Sean Dyche he's done very well, but no additions, and they have glaring errors. They can't continue playing this way season after season and still get out of it somehow. And I just don't see it. So I have Burnley finishing bottom, and as the lads have mentioned, Norwich have they've lost Buendia. They look like they're going to lose Cantwell as well, and that's two of their major goal threats and creative threats going forward. I think that's going to be a very detrimental thing. I think Watford, because their organisation isn't exactly the most stable. If you look at the way they hire and fire managers, I just don't see them having the stability to put on a substantial charge to stay in the league. Newcastle, yeah, I think everyone said everything already. I don't know if Willett goes through. Apparently, there's issues. They're going for someone from Roma now because there's issue with that deal. I don't know if that's the case. Twitter is Twitter. You never know these days. So if they can make it, they can make it. But I think they're going to finish around there. And then I have Southampton just to because I think Southampton with Ings and Southampton without Ings is a major thing. So the only change in this table is Southampton going down to 16th and everyone moving up a level below that. Brighton, lack of striker. I think Nketiah, take him, guys. Take Nketiah off us. We'll be very happy for that. If you can send Bissouma on in part of that, then fair enough. But if you can't, you can't. I find they're very clogged in midfield. I mean, they've bought that new man. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The DM. Do you guys remember his name? The guy with the M. I can't remember his name. Off the top of my head.
From Salzburg.
Moepu, thank you. Yeah, Moepu, thank you very much. He's gonna clog their build up as well. I feel I don't feel like they have enough in transition to really hurt teams. I do like Graham Potter, and I do think he's doing something with that team. But they need outlets, and they need runners. They need finishers. They need that final action improvement, which they don't have at this moment in time. In terms of Steve Bruce surviving this season, he's a wily fox, Steve Bruce. He's a wily fox. I have a feeling he somehow jinxed them out. I could be completely wrong. He'd be the first one sacked. I don't know, but Newcastle's very volatile. They can go on a run and they can do bits. They can sack someone. They're not a very stable organization either. So it's very difficult to predict. I would say off my gut, maybe. Especially if they sign Willock, I can see him making it through, but only by the skin of his teeth. Wolves, the new manager, another Portuguese man as well, Bruno Lage from Portugal. I don't think. I mean, the loss of Pedro Neto. I mean, as you may have seen on Twitter, when he does come back, Pedro will find the Neto. He will find the back of the CK. I don't see you, bro. He will find.
That is such a bad joke.
Yeah, come on, let me have it. But like, yeah, they do have players that are promising. I do like Jimenez coming back. I'm very happy to see him recover fully. Don't know what's happening with Neves. But I don't see them finishing higher than this. Crystal Palace, the guys already said, I think Crystal Palace are a good team. I think that the one thing they lack is the experience to get them through a 38-game season to get them in from that lower, that upper bottom half to a top half team. I think maybe they'll have it'll be an injury crisis or something, a rookie manager, rookie signings. I just don't see them going higher than this. I do love the potential. I like the signings of Elise Guehi. They look like they're building something, but I don't think they can do anything higher than this at the moment. In terms of Villa, I think they're going to have Gareth Bale syndrome. They're going to lose a bunch. They're going to lose a star player and try and replace the goals. They're trying to moneyball the system, replace the goals, and it's just not going to work in the same manner as it would have worked, say, if they kept him. I think this is a fair position for them. Southampton I've already covered, and Brentford I think will be the Sheffield United coming up team, or the Wolves coming up. That one team out of the promoted teams that has a great season. I think I do like Ivan Toney. We're going to get into Brentford in a bit when after we finish these predictions, but I do like Ivan Toney. I do like the way the analytics team. I do like the way they set up as a team. I think the defense is quite solid. I don't know if it's Premier League standard, but I in the past they do look like they look like they're ready to take that jump. I like them as a team. I don't really. The only individual I would see that is the X factor is Ivan Toney. If Ivan Toney can hit 15 to 20, 15 to 20. Yeah, if he can get 15 to 20, maybe 22, 23 at a max. I don't see him getting any higher than that. But if he can get something like that, then sky's the limit for them. I do like them here. Everton, Rafa, great signing for them. Who knows whether James will try and weasel his way to Real Madrid to follow his main coach. But I do like them. I do like the signing. But we'll see what happens with them. It's a very unpredictable one. I like DCL. I like obviously James. Even Iwobi can do things under them. I do like the defense. Pickford is Pickford, and I don't mind them. I like them here. I don't like them any higher than here. I don't think they can get further than here. I think Leeds, as I'm about to come on to, are a team that can do better than them at the moment. Because if you have Marcelo Bielsa, you have that system. You have, like I was saying on Twitter earlier yesterday, with Leeds, they focus on the collective. The collective is what matters. They focus on what is the team, what tactically is good for the team. They focus on fitness, they focus on tactics, they focus on pressing, and the way they work is they will improve the collective to improve the individual. So they'll drag individual talents up by improving the collective of the squad, and that is a way to infuse a culture into a team. So I do like them. I do think they are finishing here. As if you guys saw the Euros, you know my affinity for the two Czech men in West Ham, Souček and Koufal. I love them both. They're great. They're great players, and I do like them. I do think losing Lingard means they can't go to that next level. I don't think they've had any major signings to replace him. I don't think they're getting him back either. So I do see them doing okay, but I don't see where they're going to replace the X factor that Lingard bought them last season. And obviously they have Europe to contend with as well. So I don't see them taking that next jump into, say, a Champions League spot or whatever that some people seem to have thought of next last season for this season. I don't see them taking that jump. With now it gets tricky because you see, I did mine game by game. I did predictions game by game, and from 4th to 7th is 3 points: 74, 73, 72, and 71. So literally, it's so tight. It's really tight. I feel like this is going to be one of the tightest top 4 races since the early 2010s, where we're getting West. If you guys remember, like the West Brom final game, Kieran Gibbs, that sort of situation. We're getting to those sort of squeaky bum moments at the end of the season. So I do agree. I think Leicester, every season with Leicester, you see them going and you see them not being able to maintain the levels that they are at because they get injured so often. Losing Maddison, which I agree with George, is going to be a massive factor. And I just think that they don't have the ability to make that push to a Champions League spot. I think the Conference League is where they end up. And I do like some of the signings they've made. I like Daka. All 4 of us love Soumare. But it's I don't see them go. It's the injuries for me. I don't see them being able to maintain.
You can't logically put Leicester at any higher than 5th to 7th, given that they have no precedent of doing it. They've literally bottled back-to-back seasons. So
They
I really don't
spend more
see
time in top 4 than City.
Yep.
And then finish outside of it. It's crazy.
It's crazy. You can't then logically tell me that they're able to consistently do it. It's and then you lose their linchpin. I don't know if anybody saw that City versus Leicester game, but Matters ran everything for them. He was build up. He was a counter press. He was a shot potency. He did everything. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So Tottenham again lose Kane. When you lose Kane, you can't hit top 4, and I don't think they will hit top 4. They had the best version of Harry Kane, top goal scorer, top assist maker, and was 7th. For God's sake, come on now. You've lost Jose Mourinho, who, despite what you think of him, is one of, if not the best managers of the last 20 years. And even with that, it's 7th. And like, I don't think that Nuno is going to make some sort of radical change to get them into the top 4. I just don't see it. So
he's a chameleon coach, isn't he? Like, if people look at his career, people kind of mistake him for a 3 at the back coach. That's actually not true.
Not.
He's actually more of a chameleon coach, very much Emery-esque in terms of changing how he feels his team are best used. So I think he'll try to get the best out of the team, but fundamentally losing Kane, that's never done well. So for me, it's impossible. I think you have them higher than I do. I think I've got them 8th or something.
Yeah.
But I think that's also because those point, like you alluded to before, is like 1 or 2 points potentially. Even goal difference. Like, it's going to be very.
I'm telling you, I have 4th, us at 74, United literally 1 point and 2 less on goal difference, less than us, and then Tottenham on 72 and Leicester on 71, and then there's a jump to West Ham at 61. So, like, I'm not doing. Like, as I said, I gave leeway for each team for upsets. I tried to balance it for every team, so they would have, for example, if you're a lower half team, I gave like 3 upset wins, and if it was a lower upper half team, I gave at the higher up you got, the less upset losses I gave you. So I tried to deviate, try to make it as fair as possible. But in terms of, let me just quickly answer this. I mean, because I don't want to hang on this for too long, but I do want to answer this. So it's not about. It's not about you. I think what you're missing is there's a difference between having experience in making top 4 and experience in maintaining a league position. There's a difference in that, because Leicester don't have the ability or the proficiency in maintaining a league position. As CK alluded to, they were in the top 4 more than City were last season. There's a difference between maintaining a league position and keeping that level at the same level, and elevating yourself to a top 4 situation. And what I really feel people are underestimating is the effect of no Europe. Guys, if say a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a Man City or even a United, they make it to the Champions League semi-finals.
One of them.
Do you really think?
100%.
Yeah, like come on, guys. Like, do you really feel like, even forget the semi-final itself? You've got quarterfinals, 2 legs. You've got round of 16, 2 legs. I mean, there's group games. It goes on and on and on. The pile-up of games is mental, especially with you when you're talking Man City or United or Chelsea, all to do with Carabao Cup, FA Cup.
No, you know what it is, mate? I really don't think that people are understanding that when you do buy a transfer, it doesn't mean then that that's the only thing that fixes. So what I mean by that, if your team is losing goals and you just buy a striker, if that striker's a linking striker, he may help you. So in terms of creativity, it's not a direct correlation for skill. That's not the thing. So I know, at least for mine, and I'm sure, like, I don't know, you'll get into your prediction for Arsenal, but the idea that we get a James Maddison is twofold. Not only does it help our creativity, but it increases Oba. It gives Oba superpower.
For me, not even just Maddison, like Ben White increases our creativity as well. Our progression has improved.
That's what I mean. So, like, when you add these things, it's not just a simple sideways. What I do believe is that without Europe, Curran, your point I think that you're trying to make is that there shouldn't be really any excuses from a coaching perspective. You need to absolutely play a plan A. You can't use the excuse of a game schedule. I think other coaches will. And so while we don't have necessarily the same squad depth, we don't need it. We don't need it for that demand. And so there's no excuse in the sense that he has now the ability to pick his starting 11 consistently. And so, I agree. He is kind of on a tightrope in that sense.
Yeah.
My point is threefold. Okay, first is the I'm going to do United quickly, but I'm just going to mention this. I'm going to answer this quickly. So my point is threefold. The first point is what George just mentioned, to do with coaching and getting your first 11 out consistently. The second point is to do with injury load. Come on, guys, 1 game a week. Are we going to get more injuries. Like we're going to get. I mean, we could obviously get unfortunate injuries happening to people, but the injury, the wear and tear injuries, the stress injuries are going to be much lower in terms of, because you're not reaching that threshold to have soft tissue injuries or those type of injuries. And the third point is the tactical awareness. You have more time to prepare for teams, and teams have less time to prepare for you because they're having to rotate their players. They're having to get their they're having to keep getting the games coming thick and fast. And the last point I'm going to make before I go into United, because this is pretty much all my Arsenal stuff, the last point I'm going to make is as the season goes on, our fixture list gets easier and easier. So in that November or December time, when there's Champions League group stage matches, Europa League group stage matches, people are traveling back and forth. We get the worst. We get the worst of our fixtures done, and they're going to be tired, and there might be injuries. So I really do think that people are really underestimating us and saying we're going to finish 9th or 10th because they have an Arteta picture with an X through it. Like it's okay. Like, come on, guys, it's okay. We're not going to finish 10th. If we do, come at me. I'm fine. Clip it. But it's really think that you guys are really underestimating the effects that Europe has on a team, especially as a team as big as Arsenal, who, let's face it, are not done in this window. We're not even close to being done. I think we've got 3 signings, and I mean, Z has had to leave now, but I think we've probably got 3, maybe even 4 signings left in us. So everyone, let's just take it from about a 10th to a 5th or a 4th.
I hate your dad
And
jokes.
before
Here, go on, finish your table.
It's bad, isn't it? It's bad, isn't it?
It's bad.
I'm old. Let me
Just
be.
say your reasoning for your top 3.
Yeah, so top 3 is pretty easy. So I actually have Man City and Liverpool on goal difference. It's that close for me. I have it on 8 goal difference. I have them both finishing on 89 points.
Run with it.
The only reason why I'm
I think City run with it. But I think the second position is higher than third by a very big distance, if that makes sense. Like, second is on their island, but then first is like on their own island, and then third to maybe 7th or even maybe.
Right, let me tell you how it ended up with me. So I have City and Liverpool both on 89 points, and then I have Chelsea on 78 points, and then 74 to 71 for Arsenal to Leicester, and then West Ham 61, and then it goes down from there. But Chelsea, I do like the additions they've made, but I do think that they've become predictable in that 3-back formation. I think that Tuchel has to make severe changes, and Lukaku's going to be a great signing for them. But I see them becoming a predictable outfit. And Roman, if he does get upset, if he throws his toys out the pram again, you never know. You never know with Roman. And with United, it's a case of
like, for me, is proper. Me putting us above Chelsea is more emotional than rational, because I know a lot of Chelsea people, and I just can't. And I've been saying the whole window, we're going to finish third. Like, I'm not going to backtrack now. So I really think Chelsea could finish second and do a madness. But
you know what it is, guys. It seems like, maybe just to like wrap it up, and maybe we can do questions, because I think Yo-Yo's been great about doing questions. Guys in the comments, like, everyone's calling people deluded. Throw in some questions. We can sit here and chat for maybe 10 or 15 before we go on to the preview. But it seems, look, City, we have it sweeping the league. We pretty are consistent about Norwich,
Should I put
Burnley.
the average?
Yeah,
we get the average.
Why don't you check the average on up, and then we can do that as we answer questions. But maybe I'll just answer Yo-Yo's first one about, does Steve Bruce survive the season? No, not in my opinion. He does not. I think that they struggle for goals. They spend a large portion in relegation, and actually their manager bounce is what gets them just above. For me, I just don't think squad quality-wise they're actually worse enough to warrant a guaranteed relegation from the start. There's worse out there for me. And before we go into the summary, I'll just answer your last one, Yo-Yo. Look, if I had Chelsea's squad and I had just bought Romelu Lukaku, and you told me that they were finishing in the Champions League and that was enough to stay his job without a trophy, I don't know. I think it'd be very
I
hypocritical.
don't think so. I think a push has to happen because
It has to. You can't sit there and claim your squad is amazing. Yeah,
it has to push.
Yeah, you can't sit there and claim your squad is amazing and don't challenge. So, no, I wouldn't. Not with their squad. At least our squad has some glaring holes. So I don't blame the manager 100%. But Chelsea's is stacked. They've got
And
depth.
they just smashed their transfer record by 25 million.
Exactly. And they just got their big boy shiny toy striker purchase that everyone told me was the only thing that they needed. So, yeah, I really don't think that, they can demand anything less. But yeah, look, so I guess this is the summary in general. I still think Chelsea's hard done by. I want to put that out there. But I'm overruled.
I honestly think they can finish second.
You know what it is, mate? It's Liverpool's injuries for me. I can't guarantee that Van Dijk comes back the same Van Dijk. I can't guarantee that they've done enough with Gini leaving that another year with their 28, 29, 30-year-old strike force in midfield does
Chelsea to
enough.
Really finish second. Hudson-Odoi plays a big part. And can you guarantee he'll get the chance to play
if they go to a back four, which I'm predicting they do, yeah. That's the factor that I'm going in. So if on one hand I'm saying, look, it sucks that they have to go to a back four because they're going to. No team, by the way, has really survived a back three longer than 18 months. That's just factually not happened. So I do agree that he goes to a back four, but I think that introduces Callum. That's a big thing for me.
Same. I really rate the guy, and I think
massively
him on the left wing. He's played there at least. He's played on the left. In pre-season and stuff, so he is trying it. Yeah. But it's like they really, really need to get that shot.
But you know what? This average position, it's about right, to be honest with you, and especially mid-table relegation candidates. This seems fairly good. So we'll probably put this bot prediction. And you know what, guys? Maybe we'll make another one on the international break. We can do a special of like our final prediction, only because for the comments and stuff, and for people, I think it's fair. Once you have completed squads to make these predictions, West Ham could really change.
Better than mine.
It's probably not too bad. I really am only upset about Chelsea and Liverpool. I'll be honest with you.
I'm really not upset about that. I honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I think Chelsea probably may finish above Liverpool, but I can't say it.
Do you know what it is for me is that I feel like the Chelsea vulnerabilities are more easily exploited than the Liverpool ones. And because I just feel like the predictability that
Liverpool's vulnerabilities are more physical, and a lot of their injuries aren't contact injuries. So I get what you guys are saying. They could get them big injuries, and they haven't replaced Wijnaldum, but they're still a quality 11. And I'm not sure
they are. It's just they're older, mate. I can't guarantee. I can't guarantee their thing, but yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to take this because you've watched Crystal Palace?
So for me, I don't rate Vieira that highly, to be honest, but the players are really in tune with what he's done, and the counter press and the youth they've brought through in preseason have done well. Like Jezeran Raksaki or Saki, if I'm saying his name properly, has been quality in preseason, and they scored a couple goals from pressing the goalkeeper and nicking the ball. So the counter press is much more effective in the Prem than in other leagues, and with what they could bring out up front, they've got so much individual quality that players like Zaha, Olise, Eze, Ayew guarantee you maybe 10 individual goals just created by themselves a season. And having that much like individual flair and decisiveness in the final third really is not really accountable when you're like setting up to play a team. Because Zaha can just turn it on, and he did it in pre-season. He just turns it on and goes through 3-4 players for scores. And Eze does the same thing. So I think Palace will be better than 14th like they were last season, but Patrick Vieira's deficiencies as a coach, really, I don't think there'll be enough to really like, push them down from 10th.
Yeah, and so you know what?
Vieira less than you guys.
Yeah, and look, I think you said everything there, so I won't do it too much. Olusola, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Yeah, mate, I do think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets sacked. I think we said that a little bit earlier in the stream. But look, Umar, everyone, Ramsdale, should we just do like really 5 minutes, like all our thoughts?
Yeah.
Because it's the news of the day. And
Do you mind if I go?
first, yeah, go ahead.
So do I like it? No, I don't like it at all. I think it's a signing that indicates that we're going homegrown, and we need to address these new homegrown quotas that are apparently going to be coming in due to Brexit. So if we look at it, if you look at English keepers right now, there's Pickford, who, let's be real, is not someone that I would trust. I don't trust Ramsdale either, but I don't trust Pickford as well. There's Henderson, just no. I would take Ramsdale over Henderson. I don't think anyone can disagree. I don't think people would disagree with that. And what, Sam Johnston? Yeah, I would have taken Sam Johnston. But again, if you want to look at someone that you can develop, I think I would rather have Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale is the future England #1. So if you're going to go for a youngish keeper, then it should be Ramsdale. The only pushback I would say is Johnston, and who I would have preferred as well. But there are things to like about Ramsdale. I mean, he is someone that I can trust to clip balls to wide positions. He has, as George will mention, as he loves to tell me, that he has this one lovely clipped ball to the wings. He's not very vertical. I can agree with that. And the one thing I will say, a keeper does not control the amount of shots that gets tossed at them. That's not on the keeper. Like if you're conceding the most shots, that's not on you. That's on your defense. That's on your outfield players. It's not like the keeper's just sitting there going, okay, shots. Like, it's not like give me something to get shots at. And I do think with a better defense behind him, he does have the potential to explode. And the people, another thing I'm going to mention is, a lot of our fans have this love affair with Emi Martinez, and I do too. I think he was great for 3 months. He was really good for 3 months for us. So he didn't have done work great for Villa last season. But if you look at Emi Martinez when he was Ramsdale's age, I think people don't forget that Emi Martinez was in goal for Reading 5, Arsenal 7. He was in goal for Liverpool 5, Arsenal 5. He's not someone that's just been, world class for years, and we all treated him horribly. We sent him on multiple loans. We tried to adapt him to the system, and when he did finally come up with the goods, he didn't want to fight for his place on your left. So hopefully this is a case where you have a player that you can develop and then bring into the team, take over that #1 position, and someone that we can keep for the next 4 or 5 years as a #1. I hope he develops, and I wish the best for him. When you put on the shirt, you put on the cannon, you're a gunner. That's the end of the story. You support the players on the pitch. I don't like it. I don't have to like it, but I will trust the club to know what they're doing. I don't like Inaki Cannon. I think I've been pretty clear on that on Twitter as well. But if it's what the club want to do, it's on your head, lads. So if it goes wrong, then that's it.
It's tough. So look, here, I'm going to start with the negatives, and then I'll get to the positives, because I think it's always better to end on the positives. Now, The negatives. It 100% is a black stain on the club's recruitment policy. And what do I mean by that? It's not a goalkeeper that fixes us in profile. He's not particularly elite ball playing out from the back, so you can't justify a big fee for a profile. He is absolutely a younger keeper, but again, projection, and at the current moment, you just factually have to say he's not up to the standard. At 23 of age, he doesn't have the quality that a 24 million guarantees. And so right now, is it a good use of resources when you could easily get a keeper for cheaper that is better? No. So that right now it is a black stain on the short term of the recruitment. I don't think it fits a policy of what we want to do in terms of recruit to a profile. And so that's why I'm against this signing. Now, to the positives. Look, Ramsdale's 23. Anybody that watched Emi Martinez at 23, he was absolutely crap. I'm sorry. The goalkeeper's age, completely different compared to everybody else. If you're looking at the policy, what I really don't think people are understanding is I think a homegrown rule change is coming. It makes no sense to me unless I have to give some benefit of the doubt to people that are in the know better than me and has seen Ramsdale train. Because look, the England FA rate him highly. All right. Look, I understand that the quality isn't there, but factually, he's their number one for the future. That's what he's been earmarked. He was brought into the squad. That's what he's done. So for me, he's got to display something that I don't see. But in terms of an asset, this will only get better. Okay, a 23-year-old in 5 years, you can easily sell that on and make your money. So in terms of an asset, that's fine. It actually gives me some solace that Richard Garlick is good at his job, by the way. He was quoted at £40 million. He got that down to 24. I think that's good negotiation. But I do think that there's cheaper for better. In terms of his actual qualities, people are saying, is he better in terms of a homegrown quota, or is he better with the ball at his feet? Look, he has this wonderful clip ball to the wings. I was telling the lads before, I did some scouting on him, and look, he does not have a great passing range. He doesn't have a big passing range, and he doesn't have verticality in his passing, so he's not able to go incisive through the thirds. But one thing that he does have on lock is a very consistent ping to the wings, both sides, and he has that. And that, for me, is a much more difficult pass than passing through the center. So can he be coached? Is it an investment that can improve with time? 100%. Is it something that can fix our immediate needs? No. And so for me, that's why you can't sit there and say it's a positive signing. Now, I'm not going to hammer the club, and I'm not going to hammer him without seeing him play for us, though. So for me, as a young keeper, it's really tough because I don't see him absolutely elite at the thing I think we need to change, particularly with a high line. That's another thing, guys, by the way. Like, he is a good sweeper keeper that he'll rush out, and he makes questionable decisions, though. That's the trouble thing for me. So he's got the athleticism to play the role, but he hasn't to date shown the maturity. But I don't expect that at 23. So look, overall, I'm disappointed. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm disappointed with the signing. Like, I can make excuses for how it could be good and how it could be bad and trusting the club, but there is an element of you giving the club the benefit of the doubt with this deal, because fundamentally, I don't buy the homegrown rule, guys. I really, really don't buy that, because if you really wanted to, like you said, Curran, go grab Sam Johnson, who's 28. But that's tough because he's a starter, right? Like, is he going to come to be a backup? No. I mean, like, why would he come to do that? And it's all fine and good in theory with FIFA, but this isn't FIFA. And so, and some people, they all know that my
the
pick
Premier
may have
League.
been.
That's the thing.
It is, and he's got massive experience there. And look, if you're looking at a recruitment policy who's done under 24 leaders of their team, then he is that. Like, he is a leader for Sheffield. He is 23. He is English, and so it does.
He's their player of the year. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not a big achievement, but he is their player of the year. He is a leader there. That's the point.
He's their leader there. He is. But I just don't. Again, I think it's a black mark on the recruitment at this stage, because again, for me, you can't look at the Andre Onana deal for what he is and what that value for money is, and say it's a better decision to go with Ramsdale, even for asset protection, even for building your value. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you buy Onana for 5 and you can sell him even for 20, you still 5 times your investment. Whereas I think with 24 million, you can't do that with Ramsdale.
Let me quickly go
George, get him.
I think the Ramsdale deal isn't what I wanted. I was never going to advocate for signing the player because I never wanted to sign him. I think a positive part of the deal is that we've improved our negotiation and bringing down the price 16 million, albeit for the wrong player. Again, for the wrong player, because I didn't want to sign him, but we are negotiating a bit better. He is homegrown, so we won't mess up with that quota again. He's better than Leno on the ball, but that is
a hard thing to do.
Yes, hard to be better than that guy on the ball. He's young, which is following what we've done, but there were just better options out there, like Onana, who we're supposedly chasing. The deal's not done yet. A lot of people are saying it's almost, it's close, it's advanced, but it's not done. It could fall through, and I hope it does. But if he comes, I want to support him, and I hope he does well. But keepers are late bloomers anyways. I'm not sure he will be, but he could be. So, and let me answer this. If Ramsdale comes and we still do everything else, my opinion on this,
Well, my only pushback on this, I think Ramsdale actually guarantees Maddison coming. You don't spend 24 million on a backup goalkeeper without addressing a first team glaring hole without an Odegaard. Like, we actually have a hole in the starting 11. So I actually ironically think that this deal means we definitely have the funds for Maddison. It's just, I don't think the funds are being used correctly. It's not proper fund allocation.
The other thing I'll push back on is, it may, like, I hate hypotheticals, but it's just an opinion. I mean, if we do have Ramsdale in, right? How long is Leno on his contract? 2 years, I think. Is it not?
2 years. He'll have a year. Well, no, he'll have a year left in the summer, I think.
He's gonna go next. If he doesn't sign, they'll kick him out next year.
Yeah.
This is my thing. So if he's not signing any contract this year, I think he goes next year. I think if Onana does stay, it's a low possibility pre-contract in Jan. I have this feeling that we want him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe it's just my
honestly.
My one
We
friend.
do this. Say we do what this guy's suggesting, and we get Leno out in January and get Onana for half the season. Then this Ramsdale deal probably isn't as bad, but then you never really needed to spend it.
That's what my thing is. So look, I can find some ways to defend it, but then you did not need to spend 30 million on a backup. Why not just get Matt Ryan on loan and use the 5 million to get Onana for your
Matt Ryan
keeper?
came out today talking about it, saying
that they wanted a homegrown.
But the indications were that they wanted a homegrown.
And so look, I don't buy that. Even if the rules change to something drastic, like from 8 to 16 or something stupid like that, I still don't believe that, at this point in time, Ramsdale is worth that bet. In fact, I have a projection in Okonkwo, who's a great keeper, who's our own. And if we're talking projection right now, if we're talking who can, he doesn't fix an immediate need, then why do it? And so, yeah, I am really struggling with this deal. But look, I think we'll just end on, let's support it, because at the end of the day, we can try to find positives. There are some positives. Like I said, he has that clip ball to the wings. He will help our build-up. He will. He's just not elite at it. And there are better deals. There's better keepers. And yes, Onana is better than Ramsdale at build-up. I wouldn't say shot stopping, though. I will say that. Ramsdale is a better shot stopper. But, Onana is definitely better.
Quickly, let's say because this is the Premier League predictions. And just before we go, I want you guys to tell me if
we move on, we have to do the Brentford stuff, don't forget. But
quickly though, your Premier League player of the year, young player of the year, top scorer, and top assist.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's really simple for me. I think City blow away, and so the player of the year is going to be Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to be top assist record. Unfortunately, I think he smashes Henry's record, which I hate because I love that record so much. But I just see it if City run away with the title. I see that, and I see top scorer as Mo Salah, and young player of the year, I think Smith Rowe. I actually think he explodes. I think Saka, what the trouble is with that is I think teams know Saka now, so they're going to double up and they're going to triple team him. Not that he hasn't been doing that the last 6 months of the season, but I think teams have actually set out and said, we need to stop Saka, and they don't know Smith Rowe enough. So I think he'll surprise, and this will be a surprise season, but he'll break out. I think he's had an unbelievable preseason. He's up there with the top guys for me. So, yeah.
So, player of the season, I think if it's Kane moving to City, I think it's Kane. I do think that move takes them to different levels, because if he does go, then I would say Harry Kane. If he doesn't go, I would agree with George. I think Kevin De Bruyne.
Wait, so you think he goes? Let's go with the thing he goes. Is he your player of the season?
Yes, if he goes, then Harry Kane is my player of the season, because he's going to eat in that team. He's going to eat.
There.
I think he does.
He's going to mess up the dynamics, and De Bruyne is just going to pull through.
That's what I think too. Despite, even if he goes, I think
I just
De
disagree.
Bruyne runs that team.
He does run it, but I just think that you forget it's also a media award, fam. Like, if he makes that move, there's going to be narratives around it. But it's half, isn't it?
No, it's player of the year.
There's two of them, right? That's what I'm saying. One of them is player of the year, and one of them is football writers, whatever it is. There's two of them. That's what I'm saying. I just think that maybe De Bruyne, but I have a sneaky feeling that Kane, if he does go, because they do need the outside.
So he's your top scorer as well, then, right?
He's my top scorer as well. Yeah.
Do you have KDB as a sister then?
Yeah, KDB has assist, and then but I don't think he breaks the record. I think they share it around too much. I think there's going to be, because we all know it's Pep, guys. He doesn't put individual quality ahead of it. He's going to try and share it out.
KDB will start more than anyone probably.
Yeah, true.
I think he's got one last season. For me, I think KDB's got one last season before he starts to slowly decline a bit. So yeah.
And
what about young player of the year?
Yeah, I know he will get doubled, but I actually have Saka as my young player of the year because I just think he keeps his progression going. I don't think that he goes. I don't think he goes off the boil. I don't think he has like some sort of second season syndrome. I think that he's going to have a hell of a year this year, and I can see Smith Rowe getting. I can even see someone like Jadon Sancho getting it. He's still eligible, right?
21.
He's 21. He's still eligible, so it's going to be tough. Even if there are a lot of good players, even someone like Mount or like there's a lot of great players. Yeah, so, but I would go Saka. Yeah.
Top assist, De Bruyne. I think he just maybe gets 19 again. I can't say I don't want him to get the 21. Young player of the year, Smith Rowe. I think he does what Saka did this year and just shoot himself. The headlines of the media, the stratosphere where he says he's top 3 in his position, all that stuff. He's our number. I think Saka's our Jordan, our Michael Jordan. Like the guy, when we play, all the focus on him. They'll double up on him, triple up on him, and that will free up Smith Rowe. Teams, as George said, teams don't really know him yet. They know Saka because they've watched him in England, the Prem. So I think Smith Rowe really makes a name for himself. And player of the year, I'm not sure. I think maybe De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne just has one last year because the top assist, if he breaks the assist record or hits it again, I think he'll be in the conversation again. And I think top goal scorer probably is Salah because I think Mane's
going to flop this season. I can feel it.
I think he'll probably be overtaken by Jota. And I think Salah and Jota will carry the weight again of the goals this season. So
it's so hard to predict these things because of injuries and consistency, form. Yeah. There's so much that goes into it. It's just like it's very hard.
I don't think Saka will be bad if that's what he goes. I think Saka will continue to be as good, but I just don't. I think Emil will just be seen in a different light.
Yeah. I can totally see it.
The same way they see, but there are other shouts like Foden, Sancho, Neto's injured, so not Neto, but Mount, Hudson-Odoi, because if Chelsea,
Hudson-Odoi and Greenwood also. By the way, I'm going to say Greenwood does.
Greenwood's a shout. Yeah, for sure.
And so is Sancho because Sancho,
Rashford's injured, so Rashford can't be there.
Yeah, and look, I think United will struggle a lot, but also you can't discount somebody that's had 2 consistent 30 goal and assist seasons, no matter league quality.
3.
Like that 3. Sorry, yeah, you're right. It is 3 now. Like that's stupid, guys. Like I'm not going to sit there and be, biased in that sense. Like they definitely deserve a shout, but it's just, you know what I think too? ESR has more of an important role in our team than any of these players. Like. It's not 100%. Just that, like individually, it's not like a talent thing 100%, but also I think in role and prominence in the team, none of these guys have the same keys that Emil Smith Rowe has. And so I think that's a big thing. On Havertz, look, guys, I told everybody Havertz would struggle in the first season. I think that, he has a lot more to do. He needs physical development. I still said whenever they bought him, you have to look at Kai Havertz in 2 to 3 years. And I'll maintain that. Yeah. I don't think he has a great season. I hope they persist with him because he is going to be a star.
They will. That's what Marino. That's what forced Tammy out of the team last year because forced Havertz and Werner.
Which is good, by the way. Because Havertz long term is a huge thing, but I don't think he has a good season in the second season. I'm going to tell you guys right now.
Coming in, he loses that main striker role. that what's his name? That
Well,
Tuchel
also
came.
he doesn't fit with Lukaku necessarily. Like
This is what I was gonna say.
Mount
Yeah.
is that's his team. Like, and I think we've said it on past streams. Like, this is the trouble. Like, when you recruit a Romelu Lukaku, it prefers a Mason Mount than it does a Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz,
You almost want, ironically, a Haaland would have been scary. Like, when you think about the profiles, okay, Haaland
That's
has
what
the
they
legs to
wanted.
come back. I know,
You know,
They
but
couldn't do
but
it.
when you
know
think
what I've
of the
heard?
profiles, my God, like Havertz running beyond with Haaland coming deep, it would have been peak, and then Mount could have floated. Like, that would have worked.
Yeah.
It would have seen that. But with Lukaku, he's not going to be able to really do that, and I don't think Lukaku ends up doing the whole postman thing, spin and roll, the whole pick and roll. He
Pin
doesn't.
the defender and spin.
Pick and roll.
Yeah, he's not.
It
He's
won't be
not.
as effective. Yeah.
He's not doing that.
No.
So,
I
yeah.
will say what the argument is from Chelsea fans, because I have heard an argument about it, and it is that they're going to play Havertz as the Lautaro Martinez, the second striker, and they're going to play two up front, and then play Mount behind.
Two up front.
Yeah.
Not in the three. That would be
Werner-
bad.
That's the thing.
Without
No,
Werner.
no. Werner off left. They're going to play 3-5-2. Werner as left mid. That's what I'm. I hate.
honestly,
I don't like it. I think that's horrible. But I think
They're
that's what
trying to
they're
force in the names,
going to do. Yeah.
Tuchel won't do it. He won't force the
No.
names.
I mean,
Like,
they want Cho at right wing back. They want Cho at right wing back and Werner at
even
left
against
wing back.
us, Tuchel realized Cho is more effective on the left than Pulisic, and he switched it. And I think Marina
They
has
have too much
control
wide.
over
They
the
don't have enough centrally. They have so much wide. We have Cho,
They
Werner.
do need a DM, but it's still
They
still have
need
good
they
ones.
need central midfielders.
Liverpool are linked with Jeremy Doku now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
So I think we've covered everything. Our player of the year.
Yeah, should we pop over to Brentford really quick? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're cognizant of time, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Brentford. Do you want to do it now or do another live?
No, do it now. Let's just
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay,
wise.
so we play Friday, 2 days from now. Brentford
Yep.
versus Arsenal. First game of the season. I think it will be a big one because we haven't played Brentford since 1947, and so Brentford, they will be.
That's
up
such a
for it.
Sky Sports stat. That's such a Sky Sports stat. Like they just the
I
last
just
time
heard
these
it
two
and I
played.
remembered
The last time these two played was in 1947.
It is a big thing for them. It will be a big thing.
It is. Yeah.
The new team that always comes up mostly do well on the first day. Like Leeds did well versus Liverpool in the 4-3, so they will do well. I think we win, but I don't think we run away with it possibly. But yeah, like, what are you guys' thoughts on the games?
I actually think the opposite. I do think we run away with it. I think it's a 3-1. What I think is Brentford, how they play is a 4-3-3 with very patient build-up, with very vertical kind of passes in the midfield. They play very similarly to us. It kind of transitions to a 3-4-3 as well. And they look for wide overloads and they want to release their wingers. It's very, very similar to us. And when we face teams like that, we do well.
We struggle centrally.
Exactly. And so if teams are going to do that, then that's cool. That's actually the perfect opponent for us. And when we have fans, I actually have this thing. I think Oba breaks his duck, and I think that's all he needs.
I think he scores 2 goals.
Yeah, and
I think he bags, but like the thing with Albert, this thing is, how are we gonna? We need to be able to get him in those positions, and I don't like their centre backs. I don't like either of them. I think they're quite slow. I mean, I'm watching them in the playoffs, and their actual centre backs and their goalkeeper I don't really rate as highly. I think they're very good going forward, but they do have that vulnerability centrally in terms of their central defence.
Well, mate, they do the same thing that we do, right? Like they overload. They don't build in a 3 necessarily. Like they do still build in a 4. It's when they transition, they go into a 3-4-3. But they do leave their center backs exposed, and like we do the same. So it's gonna be a very tough one. You know, they have like this. I don't know. Norgard is decent, kind of in their in their pivot, but you know, Josh Da Silva's I think is still injured. You know, Ivan Toney is a menace. He is.
Yeah.
You know, he's a very good striker. But I'm not worried with Ben White. That's the thing. So. Also, Raya is unconvincing. Like he's great with the ball at his feet, but at shot stopping, it's not the greatest. So yeah, no, look, I just think when you have a team fundamentally that comes at us, we do well. That's okay.
Yeah.
We don't struggle with that. And I don't think Brentford sit back at all. And they're good on set pieces. So the only thing I will say is kind of, for us, we haven't defended set pieces the great in preseason, but again, that doesn't speak to like our ability in the season. But I will say, like, Brentford are good on set pieces, but not in the traditional sense. Like, they don't have twin towers; they're just very innovative, and so they have like little tricky corner routines and stuff. But similar to us, like, they go short, or they do stuff like that, which we've been doing, by the way. So it's actually really, really similar. Like, they're a light version of us in how they want to attempt their play. And so I think that actually bodes well for us. I think that's the perfect thing that we needed on an away day. Like, if you asked me, George, you're going to be given an away day, what type of away day? Well, you're going to be given a team that we don't know how they're going to do in the Premier League, but also they play progressive. Great.
It would have been, like, for me, like, the first game probably would have been Brentford or Leeds if I wanted someone, because
I wouldn't want Leeds. You know who I would have wanted? Southampton.
Yeah, no goals.
No, but at home, I wouldn't want
and no goals.
I just don't like them away. We've struggled at Southampton away this past
decade.
decade.
Saka start.
100%.
Yes, because Pepe
and
hasn't
bad,
been that good.
which is bad on us, but like, we will. Did you see what happened when he came on?
Yeah,
we changed as a team, and the focus on Smith Rowe really decreases as soon as that guy comes in.
It will be Lokonga. It will be Lokonga.
Lokonga and Xhaka, I think. Doesn't matter, bro.
Do you guys have any? I don't know. Maybe last little thoughts on Brentford, and maybe last.
I think Brentford will are a good team.
They are. Players. Their coach is good too.
There'll be goals in this game.
I think it will be. When I said I don't think we run away with it, what I mean is, I think we score late.
Let's be real. David Raya can barely touch the crossbar, so it's not a case. So he is not. He's quite short. So
no, you know what I see? I see a 1-1 up until like the 75th minute, and then like two quick fire goals. Like, we score and then we go again, because Brentford are similar to us, where they actually are like that. Like, when they do lose a lead, the floodgates can open. Like, that can't happen for them. And so, I do see. That's
how I thought the game would go too. I think 2 or 3-1, depending on if Martinelli comes on.
And I think he is. Like, I think he's...
What a man as well. Jesus Christ. He's already back in training. He looks ridiculous.
Same as Pedri. Like, that Pedri guy needs to stop. But
bro, even Martinelli. The guy was coming off a stop-start campaign, went to the Olympics, and then didn't take a break and started.
This is good. I'm taking this.
Granted, by the way, Martinelli didn't really play, so I actually think he's in the perfect position.
He's still fit. He's proper fit.
He's proper fit. Yeah, so I don't think it's a big issue. And by the way, Gabriel, and look, Curry, maybe we can speak, like, because this is just a little quick medical chat. Go for it. But look, if Gabriel, and I haven't seen pictures of us training, and I think that's on purpose, by the way.
Yeah.
He's
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Back. He's back.
But Chris, he's not just back; he's fit.
He's fit
because I think it's very purposeful that there's no training. But like, when you have like tendinitis and you are returned to play after that, it's not like you need hours and days and weeks to fitness, because it's really just more of a management issue. So what he did going to like Mexico or whatever, it was just rehab. Like, it wasn't, oh, I'm waiting on a ligament to heal. I'm waiting on X, Y, and Z. It literally is rest, recuperate, light, flexible stuff, and then you can start running again. So I think he's fit.
George, is it just me, or do you think Partey's back for Chelsea? I think he's back for
Chelsea. I think he's back for Chelsea. Or like, we do have to see him in group photos at least once. I just don't know how he is. I always told people 7 to 10 days plus 4 for fitness work, because
this 3 weeks is a bit mad for me.
It's a weird timeline, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really late for a light injury, which is a grade 1, but way too early for a really serious grade 1.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird timeline.
Very weird. If it was a very serious injury, then you typically have this 4 to 6 week timeline, which is like the scary syndesmosis tear, which I don't believe it is, because 3 weeks is way too light for that. But if it's like an ankle sprain in terms of a grade 1, that's 7 to 10, and then that increases with a grade 2.
Yep.
Similarly to like 4 to 6, but again, that's way too early. 3 weeks, like
with no Cinder's most involvement, there should be on towards the 4 week side. It shouldn't be. I mean, it's a weird. It's I just don't like the grading. I think the grading's weird, and I think the timeline's weird. It just something seems off.
Well,
I feel like
Arteta never is honest with.
No, but this is the website.
Even the website that they're saying 3
Yeah.
weeks, like it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Like,
The timeline doesn't make sense. If it's grade 2, then it's 4 to 6. If it's
and
grade 1,
I saw the boot when he was working out. That means nothing, guys. Like we do that in grade 1s to keep
Yep.
your fitness up. Like it just we want the ankle stable so that you can do something, and we don't want to move it. So yeah, you keep it stable in that sense. So yeah, I think it could be early. I don't want to guarantee. I need to see him in a group photo, and I'm not there assessing him. But guys, it's semantics. He's definitely back for City. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. City's back. City's
all these questions, guys, because we're nearing the end. We're going to be live on Saturday, probably, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should come up with a lot of questions Saturday because all the teams are back on Saturday.
And we'll have something to discuss.
Yeah,
let's
we'll
just
answer
this one, and then I'm going to do a couple of.
I can see it, but more so against low block teams like Millwall, Watford, because we have less battles in midfield. So
the reason is because I think Lokonga, and by the way, I warned this for everybody, but everyone said I was crazy. He positionally, he's off. And I think people should have seen that, especially even against Tottenham. You know, do you guys remember that clip ball? Ben White goes and attacks with the header. There's like a long, and it's back in the midfield. That's Lokonga's. Like that should be. It wasn't Granite's. Granite was ahead of the ball, and Lokonga should have been behind. And it's not hugely, but like he has positioning issues. And so, as a
we are coaching it. It's very evident from the.
Very evident. So I'm not worried long term. I'm not hammering the kid, but I'm just letting people know as that pivot. Sure, maybe in 2 years, that's the pivot. But I don't think right now it can happen against low block only because, like you said, Chris, like we don't have that threat on the counter as much. So like a Burnley that could work.
It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect in that first half against Spurs when we played them because they were playing.
If we had the ball.
And typically against Spurs, like the last game we saw, Arteta does not respect their first phase. So
I meant in the season. Remember when we not in the
preseason.
Like,
against Spurs we could see it, but they are very similar, and Partey is better positionally, and in transition that would cost us against a team that really, like a Chelsea, that would cost us.
Don't you find it funny though that they released the Martinelli edit, but no one about the main group?
He was by himself. Everyone was far away.
Yeah, don't you find that hilarious? That's why I think Gabriel's back. Only because it's and if he's not back, he's like daily. Like it's like he just traveled or there's something else. It's nothing injury related. It's like he is at this point up to the physios on a daily assessment, in or out. And I really think he's in because look, I would even have Martinelli fit, by the way, too. Like even if he's come back and he's doing training on his own, like he did training at the Olympics, you know, he kept in shape. And I think he actually played the best amount of minutes I wanted to see, right? He wasn't really used. He had cameos here and there. But yeah, so he should be back fit. But yeah, look, I'm excited. We're going to see Brentford, guys. We're going to go live on Saturday, I think we said, right, guys?
Yeah. After the Manchester United Leeds game. So we'll have 2 games to talk about.
Perfect.
Right, so just before we go, I'm just gonna do a couple of admin things. So first of all, we're trying to get the Twitter up. I think it should be up today. Hopefully we'll because we've had issues with it the past couple of weeks. Second, we're going to be doing live on Saturday, and we're going to be doing the podcast will be on the Brentford game. I think, guys. I think we've agreed on that already. So from now on, it will be the lives will be like, for example, different topics, maybe questions, maybe some things we do on the podcast, transfers or whatever. And the podcast, because George is from Canada and he can't do watch-alongs every time, we're going to make the podcast the match reactions and reviews. That will be done Sunday, and then Spotify will be Monday, and the YouTube version will be out on Wednesday. So I think that's what's going to be going forward. If things change, we'll let you know. In terms of other things, thank you for 3 months as well. We've just passed 3 months, and we've passed 450 subs, which is, I think, I think pretty cool.
We passed 460.
460 even. See here, thank you very much. So I think that the growth has been really cool, and it's been great getting to know you guys. Even if me personally, I've turned into a grumpy old man in the past couple of weeks. But
well, also on that side note, he's also a little bit older, so a big happy birthday from us at the panel and everybody
thank you
here
very
to
much.
Curran. It's his birthday, so send him his celebratory thing. And I just want to echo what Curran has been saying. Please, guys, like, comment, subscribe, because you know what, we can't continue doing content if you guys don't do that. And so we have big plans for the channel. Thank you so much for your support to date. But we just want to keep going and rising throughout the season. And but thank you for your support.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, and the Twitter will get hopefully today.
Next week maybe.
Hopefully. And thank you everyone for the birthday wishes as well. I appreciate every single one of them. Thank you very much, Obi. It's been great talking to everyone today. Great seeing so many good faces, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye now.